Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's session, and hello to Amanda. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. So Amanda is here today from Unitas, and this webinar, really the aim of it is to look at Unitas's rebate management solution with Enable. So if we kick off, I think we should just go straight into it.
Absolutely.
So Amanda, what's your role at Unitas and how long have you been there?
So I'm the systems coordinator. I look after all the online systems. So basically I've been with Unitas since it was merged in November last year. Yeah. It's formed from Today's Group and Landmark. I worked actually for Today's Group prior to that, and I started there in 2000, so it's 19 years now.
Wow, that is commitment. Great. Okay, and how did you get involved in rebates then through your roles? Or?
Well, basically, when Today's Group was with its sister company, Unitas Wholesale, we had a very manual system. It was dealt internally. When we split, we had to have our own rebate system.
Yeah.
So that's when I got involved, and I took more of an IT role.
Yeah.
And I helped develop the system.
Great. And what did you do before to manage those rebates?
It was all done manually. There was a little team in the finance department within Unitas Today's, and they did everything on spreadsheets. Yeah. Masses and masses of spreadsheets.
I've heard that before.
Manual keying in of figures, lots of potential for error.
Yeah.
That was how it was done.
Was the setup. Great. Okay, and I guess you can assume the problems. But what were the problems with the way that you were running it at the time?
So the figures would get in. They were all lots of different formats. Lots of potential for manual keying in errors. Yeah. Because you were re-entering figures in.
Yeah.
And also we were having problems where members wouldn't actually see their own figures, and they wouldn't be able to track their earnings until the year end.
Okay. When did you realise that you wanted to move to an online system and that there were solutions out there available for rebate management?
So basically, when Today's Group split from Unitas Retail, we wanted to become more transparent. We needed members to be able to track their own earnings. So we actually decided that the ideal opportunity to go online, we wanted to become more technically advanced. Yeah. And dare I say it, we wanted to beat our competitors.
Yeah. No, that's good. You're looking ahead. So.
Absolutely. It was a case of our directors and our managing directors went out. They spoke to different people who owned their own businesses. They spoke to suppliers. They spoke to other wholesale buying groups, and that's how we found out that there were other systems out there that were able to do the job.
Okay, and what was the motivation really then for driving that through and moving to one?
Well, we didn't want anything that was long-winded. We wanted to be more automated. Yeah. It needed to be more streamlined. Yeah. We were a small team, so it had to be managed better. We wanted members to be able to engage with it and to actually track their earnings. And then we wanted suppliers to be actually responsible for their own figures and to take responsibility for their own keying in.
Yeah, rather than receiving information in various ways. Okay, so how did you find out about Enable?
So a previous MD of Today's Group, he knew Dennis Short. Yeah. And he knew at DCS, they had their own rebate system. Yeah. And Enable designed it. Yeah. So hence the connection.
So it was a friend of a friend.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what made you pick Enable out of potentially other online systems?
So Enable came down for a meeting. They came to Scunthorpe. We all sat down. We all talked, and they actually understood our requirements. They understood the rebates. They knew what rebate systems were, and that was a big bonus for us. Yeah. So yes, that was one of the reasons that we actually went with them.
Yeah, and I guess it's important that your business is understood to then create that online environment that's actually accurate.
Yes, absolutely. You need to have a company that understands how the rebates work, because otherwise an online system, it's worthless.
So how were processes impacted then once you had an online system?
Well, simply, the whole process has been streamlined.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of time away from manual tasks, and also the whole process from suppliers putting in the figures to being invoiced and members actually being paid has all been speeded up.
Yeah. I guess what is the impact of it being so slow? It's just, I guess, impacting relationships as well.
Absolutely, but members always want the money.
Yeah.
Wholesalers, they do deals, they sell stock, and they sell it based on the rebate levels. So they need to get their money back as sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And to be able to speed up that process for them is a big help with their businesses.
Yeah. And what did you see as the benefit, really, of having a rebate management system?
So basically, we can track all the rebates we have. We can chase any that are outstanding because we can find them at a press of a button.
Yeah.
They don't slip through the cracks. Also, members have the benefit of being able to track their own potential earnings, and they can actually check and gauge their own target levels on growth and achievement to core ranges.
Yeah.
So it's been beneficial for members to be able to actually comply with any specific requirements relating to the rebates.
Yeah, because it's just having all that information in one place.
Absolutely.
You can easily then communicate as well.
Yeah.
And were there any benefits that you maybe didn't expect?
Absolutely. The suppliers themselves, having to put their own figures on, we're actually realising if some of the agreements were a little more complex. So they've actually simplified them.
Oh, great.
Which is beneficial for us, and it's also beneficial for the members. If an agreement is easier to understand and implement, then the members are more likely to actually put it in place in their depots.
Yeah.
So, all in all, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, I think once an agreement is more easy to understand, it's easier for both parties to achieve it, as opposed to, I guess, rebates, particularly being complicated, as we know in the industry. Okay. Yeah. And maybe then, why do you think others should consider a system? What would you say? Would you give any advice to those looking at maybe moving online?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the best thing that we've done. We've had a lot less errors with the because there's no manual keying in on our side of things. Plus, the whole system has been streamlined. Everything works well, it works better, and we don't lose any money. We don't lose any rebates. They don't get, they don't slip through the cracks, and we can track each and every one of them.
So to summarise then, it sounds very much like initially you had a more manual system and manual processes, and an online system really just automated that and helped the process for you in terms of, as individuals, your daily tasks and what you were doing, but also the business as well, and then furthermore the relationships you then have with your members. So dual benefits, I guess.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have had questions coming in whilst we've been chatting, so if we take a look at those. So one of the first questions is an online system just for buying groups or members as well? So I think I can answer that. So yes, a rebate system such as Deal Track is available for members as well. In particular, it has all the similar benefits available that it would to a buying group. But for example, by using your own data, you could potentially then be looking at actually how much is the product cost minus the rebate. So how much does the product really cost? And that can help you then influence what you're selling that product at. So again, driving that growth, which is quite key. And second of all, for example, if you have branches, looking at which rebate is attributed to which branch, and then again looking at targeting a particular branch maybe that you want to drive growth on again. So I think by using your own data there is a lot more various benefits available there, and as same benefits as a buying group as well. So another question is, do we always have to rely on supplier data? No, the answer to that is quite easy. You would be putting in your own data there. So, and like I said, in regards to those points then about attributing it to branches and products, that's all coming from your own data. So a buying group would be using supplier data, but as a member, you'd be able to use your own data. Okay, this is one for you, Amanda. So do you think you claim more rebate now?
I'd like to say yes, absolutely.
I hope you say yes. Yeah.
Basically, the suppliers are seeing an excellent benefit towards using a rebate system. They can see the potential and they can see their own areas growing.
Yeah.
Members are actually accessing the system, they're using the system, and the suppliers are seeing this. And they're seeing that members can use the system to actually track their own potential earnings and achieve higher growth levels and growth targets.
Yeah. So not only are you claiming better, but you've got all these additional benefits now as well.
Yeah.
Great. And what else, Amanda, do you plan to do with rebate management in the future?
Oh, well, that's always a key question. Well, basically, we want to add more reports for the members so they can pull out specific information from the system that they need for their businesses. Yeah. We're also hoping to look at having a system on there where members can see when they've been paid and how much they've been paid and also what's outstanding.
Yeah.
So it helps them more with their finances.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. It's kind of helping both businesses to grow then as well and communicating better. They do say that's key. So I think that is all we've got time for in terms of questions. I would just say if you have any more, please get in touch. We're happy to answer those, but we are running out of time now. If you're interested in learning more about DealTrack, please contact us for a demo. We're happy to take you through that. And I think, thank you, Amanda, really, and thank you for your time today and answering all of those questions.
That's fine. Thanks for inviting me.
Great. And I hope to see you all at our next webinar. Hopefully you found that useful. And if you want to follow us on our social media channels as well, we're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. You can find us all on there and keep updated with what we're doing, really. So have a great day, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.